Hi everyone and welcome back to another video with me Shruti Vashist from the channel I am Shruti Vashist and the website enlightenmentcourses.com. So in this video I'm going to be talking to you about how your purpose is your vibration. And if you've heard this term before, you don't know what it means, then you can keep watching and even if you know what it means, I have an example to share with you, something that happened recently. And I think that these reminders are good for us because, we're so absorbed in the material world that we forget. So please continue watching. If you would like to hear more about this, subscribe to this channel and hit the bell notification. That's how you'll get to know when I make my videos. Also check out my website enlightenmentcourses.com, where I have all kinds of courses and personal services with me. And they're all about self-empowerment and about coming into our ascension and coming into our self-mastery. So it's actually very late here, but this is when inspiration hit me. The clock behind me isn't correct. It's past 12 midnight. So what does it mean that your purpose is not a physical job, basically? I'm sorry if this camera is moving. These days, the best thing I can think of is to use a selfie stick. So I'm going to try and make this move as little as possible. But basically, your purpose isn't anything physical. It's not a job that you do. It's not anything that you're doing for the moment. It's not a project that you have. It's not even, your children as such, or those responsibilities that you have at home. It's not a physical thing. Essentially, what your purpose is your frequency, it's your vibration. And, the way that we live our purpose is by coming into our vibration, is by coming into our frequency. That means that we inhabit a certain state within us, like the state of consciousness. And as you know, on the path of enlightenment, on the path of ascension, there's these different levels that we come into. The highest being our God self, sort of like, you can say our I am presence and then our God self. Those levels are when we really come into the sovereign being that we are, our sovereignty. And when you actually hold that is when you fully live your purpose. But even before that, when we hit the fifth dimensional level and we are living that in our body, we're not just experiencing it from time to time. It's become an embodied, stable vibration in the body where it mostly is there, like it's the resident dominant state. That is like the first major level of enlightenment or ascension, you can say. I have a whole course on that called Embody the Fifth Dimensional Vibration, where I take you through the process of embodying that level. So check it out also on my website, and all the links will be below, of course. But basically, it's a frequency that we hold. That is what our purpose is. And when we come into our frequency, we can be doing the most mundane things. And because, the reason I'm making this video is because we forget, is because these days what enlightenment, what ascension looks like, what the people who have embodied this level in their bodies, who are on the path of service, what they're being called to do is not to go and sit on a mountain and isolate themselves and, sort of just come into their own or meditate or all of those things. For the most part, what we are called to do is to be in those different places in the world that need the most light. And that can be kind of difficult, and we have these quote-unquote normal lives for the most part. We might be doing certain things that are different, again, if you want to think about purpose from a physical standpoint, like what it means physically, like the physical job that you have. You might be doing something that you're passionate about, that, your values and what you resonate with. But the main thing that you do is not even that. Even if you've chosen this path and you're doing something that you're very passionate about, it's completely in alignment with your values. You are so much more than that. Just the fact that you embody a certain vibration and you have become a living channel for that vibration, for that consciousness to come through you, just through breathing and being here, that is your main purpose. So what you do physically can vary, can change, and can look very different from how people imagine enlightenment to be, how people imagine ascension to be, how people imagine, what evolved beings look like, what they do, and all of those things, because we are placed, I've said this before in so many videos, but we're placed in these different circumstances that are quite difficult, or challenging, I should say. And it's something like, when you're living in the material world and you're going through these problems or challenges yourself, and you haven't yet realized who you are and you haven't yet claimed that vibration, you'll go through the suffering. There's this like constant back and forth, this battle that's there. And when you move into a higher consciousness, it's not as if those battles disappear, but it becomes different. The purpose becomes that you are like a soldier who is there, in a place of war, essentially, of these vibrations that are at conflict with each other, like these different consciousness that where people are in conflict. It's like duality, the world of duality, and you're within that, and you're the point of integration. So there's constantly going to be chaos around you, because chaos sort of comes and finds wholeness from you, and that's why you've been put in those places. So it's very different when you're personally going through stuff, and you're learning to come into your own. You're learning to become self-empowered. You're learning what to distinguish what is light and what is not light. That's a different thing, and you might be facing the same circumstances as another being, like if in the same, it's the same situation, like the same national emergency that you're having as your peer, and that person is still struggling. They're in this fourth dimensional lower vibration, and they're still learning to distinguish what is love, what is not, versus somebody else who has come into that. They might be going through similar challenges, but again, one is on the path of service. It's like a soldier being in an environment and fighting for somebody else, in a sense, you can say. And the other one is sort of creating that mess, in a way. And I'm not saying this out of judgment. I'm saying this that, that they hold different frequencies and they hold different vibrations. And though, as the human self that you hold, which you are, you're also human. And it's important to express this human side of you, regardless of whatever anybody would say. It's important to even make mistakes, fall out of line, or whatever it is. That's all completely natural for you to express that human side as well. But it's just that when you hold a higher vibration, you'll be in a vibration of balance for the most part, and you will experience within yourself this sense of unity. And more than anything else, you'll be on the path of service, again, just from breathing. It's not about the job you do or what you're doing in your day-to-day as such. It's about the choices you make within that. Like, are they aligned with your higher self? Are they aligned with your higher purpose and what in this moment, what spirit is guiding you to do? So it's a very personal thing, in the sense that, most people can't see it. They wouldn't be able to tell. It's you that will be able to tell, and maybe, some other people who have a similar vibration. When they know more about you, they can tell. But so I don't know if I'm making this more complicated, but, if you've logged into this video and your purpose was to find out what people mean when they say that your purpose is who you are, that's what it means. That it's the vibration that you hold, the consciousness that you hold, and you are this light amongst darkness, and you sort of bring these things that are chaotic, that are that are still finding themselves, into a sense of wholeness, or you hold that potential for them. Of course, it's everybody's choice to actually choose that potential, but you will often find yourself in chaos despite that as well, right? You'll be put in the darkest of places because you are the light. So I wanted to make this video for all of you, because I know that many of you, you're on your path of ascension, and you second guess yourself, you doubt yourself. And I'm also making this video because I also sometimes, despite knowing everything, having gone through, having made choices, and again having gone through these doubts, and then rising from it and going through all of those beautiful cycles. But even then, because we have that human self, and each time it's a different experience, so we do sort of second guess ourselves sometimes. And this video is just a reminder from spirit, through me, that you're enough, and it's your presence that is what is needed in the world. And the fact that you hold this vibration, and that the fact that you're choosing it. And there's no greater change that we're making these days than just being a part of the mainstream, being a part of society, and changing it from within. And often that is in a silent way as well, where people don't even know what you're doing, or that you hold a certain vibration. And some people might not. So without making this video too long, let me check if I have any other notes that I wrote. I'll just read out whatever I had. So your purpose is who you are. It's not a job or an action. When we claim our frequency, that means when we claim who we are at a sovereign level, we breathe from it. And it's almost like being and just breathing becomes our purpose. Like, our purpose is just to be and breathe, because we hold that pure vibration. So anything that we create from that level of being it becomes flow, basically. And that is what your purpose is. It's just to be you. It's just to claim that part of you and to be comfortable in it. And quickly, before I stop this video, I wanted to give an example. So as you know, I'm a teacher. I teach in a school, and I've been doing that for quite a few years. I used to do that before my quote-unquote ascension process began and happened. And then I got back. Then I quit teaching when all of this was happening, because I told myself that I'm not going to work for an employer, and I'm going to get into spirituality, and that's all I'm going to do, like make these videos and stuff. But life took a different turn. I was sort of pulled back into teaching again. And there are times when, one wonders, like, what am I doing with this? I mean, teaching is amazing because I do help empower students, children especially, because my role is about working with children who come from different countries. So I specifically work with those children who come from other countries. They speak other languages, and I'm trying to integrate them into the mainstream and into, so there's this counseling aspect of it as well, aside from teaching English. So I like the fact that I work with this empowerment, which is exactly what I do with my spirituality, what I did within myself, and how I am as a personality, with a big focus on that. This balance of compassion and this self-empowerment and that type of, sorry, it's just really late here. But I really had this urge, this inspiration to make this video. So teaching also sort of, it's that same vibration. I'm just doing it in different ways in whatever I'm doing, whatever action I'm doing. But recently, I joined this new school, and it's a very good school, but it's just, work is so hectic there. And it's been so hectic for me because I'm also new, and I'm learning all the new systems and everything. And it's, just the first couple of months. So, so I was really overwhelmed last week because we also have these events coming up. There's a couple of things happening all at the same time. And we had this event, which we actually have in 2 days from now, but we were preparing for it last week, and I was like, another thing that I have to do, like, it's so extensive because the parents are coming in, and we had to do a showcase of something that we taught the children, and then the children sort of teach it to the parents, to show them how learning and teaching happens. So the parents get to experience that, essentially. And the topic, there were 2 topics that the students are learning with me. And the first one, like the one that I wanted to take up, was about different countries, because one of the things that they're doing in social sciences is learning about the continents, the capitals, and what the different cultures are all about, like, the famous places, and what the different countries are famous for, like the languages and everything, really. So I thought that would be so interesting, because I specifically, like I said, teach foreign students, so for them to share that. But that topic, unfortunately, was already taken by another class, and I then had to teach about rocks. So we're doing this unit on rocks and science. And I never even thought of rocks that way. Like, I mean, I before I got back to teaching, what I was really into, and I still am, is like whenever I go to the mountains, I pick up these rocks, like these raw rocks, these raw half crystallized stones especially, but even just rocks as well, if they come from these pure places, like a river, like a riverside, by the riverbed or something, like in the mountains. So I have so many of these rocks, and I even sold them many years ago when I used to live in Croatia and in San Francisco. At that time, I even sold many of these because they had these different energies, and I knew what that was, and I created things, like a package with a candle with the similar energy, these handmade candles with that rock as like a meditation, or keeping in your sacred space sort of a piece. So it's funny how these things come into your life. Like, I find myself, like, long story short, I collected all of the crystals that I had, these gemstones, because I wasn't initially connecting rocks, because they're learning about igneous rocks, metamorphic rocks, sediment, like the science part of it. Then that got me doing research about crystals as well, because I'm like, okay, I have some of these crystals, I wonder which type of rocks they were formed with or around. And then now essentially, now we're exhibiting all of these crystals that I have, and everybody was so fascinated with it, all of the children, the teachers that saw it, and myself, I had such a good time, because I was like, I'm overwhelmed, but because I like this subject, I feel energized. And even though I did spend a lot of time working on it and preparing the presentations and everything, but it seemed much more effortless, much more seamless, because it's what I love. I have so many gemstones and crystals as well, and that's what I got to teach the students about, and ignite their curiosity about this week, and that's what now we will be presenting, and the students will be presenting. So and this happened last year as well, when I used to work in another school, and we had the last year's Lionsgate, not this year. I missed this year's Lionsgate. I didn't miss it, but I missed speaking about it on this channel. Suddenly the principal of my school had a session on the Lionsgate portal. Can you believe it? This is a mainstream school. And she had a session for the teachers, like we have those professional development sessions. And she talked about harnessing energy and the fact that, there's these portals that open up, and it wasn't compulsory. She said that, I encourage you to join, but it's really up to you. But like, a lot of people joined because she's the principal. And then she spoke about manifestation and the power of positive thinking, and basically channeling your focus when you focus on something, and to get clarity and remove stress and all of those things. So I couldn't believe it that, because again, that was a moment where I was questioning, what am I doing with my life? I'm teaching in a school, and I want to do these other things like that relate to spirituality. Like, ideally, I'd like to do that full time. And here was my principal, having private talks with me about her passion for spirituality, and talking to me about that, and holding this session for the whole school. And it's something similar happened with veganism too. Like, in my previous school, they opened up a vegan counter, like a whole section during lunchtime, where 5-6 items every day were vegan. After a few years of me being there, I'm not saying it happened because of me, but it's like, when these things happen, that part of you're part of the bigger picture, and you've influenced some changes because of the consciousness that you hold. Like, at a physical level, it can look like, me not getting food during some school trips or some school events that happen. And when it reaches the committee, like, maybe they talk about it, and eventually it leads to change. So maybe it's just a small thing like that. But at a deeper level, it's me holding a certain vibration, certain consciousness all the time, and being present in a physical environment every single day, and influencing that. And we do that negatively, we do that positively, of course. All humans do. So going back, you know, your vibration is who you are, and your vibration is your purpose, your frequency is your purpose. So focus on that. Forget about, you know, what it looks like in the physical. You might be dissatisfied because you thought your life would look a certain way after enlightenment, or you know, after a certain stage in your ascension process, or other people expect certain things from you. They expect you to be perfect. This happens with me a lot. You know, they don't expect a human, they expect that, you know, okay, so why aren't you perfect, like their idea of whatever perfect is. But we're here to be live as humans, you know, like it's a different role that we have, that consciousness has in this day and age versus what it was before, like maybe in previous generations. The purpose was for this one being to come, for this consciousness to sort of reside in one main being, you know, like every century or whatever, this one Buddha, Mahatma, that all these different religions celebrate, so that you could see what was possible. But now it's not about that distant thing of hope that you're worshipping somebody else. It's about the fact that every human can live more consciously. So that is what we do in our humble service, you know. And please remind yourself of this beautiful duty that you do. And just because, you know, you're not like sitting on a mountain or you're in an ashram or whatever, doesn't mean that you haven't fulfilled your purpose. Okay, so I'm going to stop talking now. I hope that you enjoyed this video. Let me know in the comments below what you thought, and if you have any questions and all of that. I hope I'll be able to make more videos for you soon. And please subscribe and check out, by the way, I forgot to say, on my website there are some discounts happening, because I started them a while ago and then I wasn't regular with my videos, so they're still there. Like there's 50% off on my services, on courses and stuff like that. So check it all out, and I'll catch you in the next one.